Hello everyone, and welcome to the start of my Bitwig from the ground up series. Now in this series, I kind of want to do what I wanted to do when I first started YouTube, which was just cover like everything in Bitwig, all of these little devices here, and kind of talk about them specifically, what cool uses they have and how I like to use them, and how the modulators kind of work with them, like just common uses of modulators on certain things basically. However, I also want to talk about like the user interface, and in this episode, most importantly, this sort of Bitwig icon. When I open this, we see that I have my name here. So what this section is for the projects essentially, or like user content. So any sort of templates or projects you have set up. So you can go to your recent projects, the My Projects, you get this beautiful little search function. There's a templates of things that you make, or maybe templates that come in, but you can see who they're by and sort of any tags that might come with them. And then the quick start, there are some options for downloads related to the projects if you're into that or want to see some other things, but nothing really all too complicated. Over here, we have our settings section for user interface. If we want to do any sort of scaling, things in the mouse transport, if we're going to do dual displays, triple displays, what kind of dual displays we want, behavior of the DAW, such as like, is audio automatically stretched or is it not stretched? Do you want to open with like the last project, a new project, or just this dashboard that we have in front of us? Things for audio, just like every other DAW has, along with some pretty serious input and output routing options. Some general recording settings that can be accessed from within the DAW itself, not just only in the dashboard. We have some controller settings here. Everyone's probably going to just set up a generic MIDI keyboard and select whatever your keyboard is, unless you're using launch pads or any drum sequencers. Options for synchronization for people who are using hardware. Locations for setting up audio samples or plugins, or maybe your music locations if you want to look at things in the DAW. One nice thing to know about Bitwig is that there's like an auto refresh, or it monitors for file changes, so you can have Bitwig open, install a plugin, and it's already good to go. You don't need to reset and reload or come in manual rescan anything. There's a plugin section here, so basically what you do is you just choose what runs separately or independently from like the overall dedicated RAM to the DAW. So I like to do each plugin independently, so that way each plugin I open or have running is running its own little instance, so I don't share them. If you're sharing too many complicated plugins in sort of one instance, it's highly likely that if you do something, you'll end up crashing or sandboxing all your plugins, and then your plugins can't be reopened because there's too many loading sequences happening at one time that they just sandbox again. So if you put one for each plugin, it works good. This will take more RAM and just general computing process. So this might be a bad option if you have a bad computer, but if you have a good computer, it's definitely a pro. And then here we have shortcuts where we can manually set any type of shortcuts we want to have related to any sort of workflow enhancements, literally anything. Very handy. I recommend you use the crap out of this for things that you find yourself doing a lot in your workflow. Make hotkeys for it if you can. Here we have a packages section. This is just free content that comes with Bitwig, including presets for built-in devices. And in the help section, it looks at kind of the biggest improvements they've made to their DAW, such as the modulators, crossfades, phase 4, and the new sampler. Their biggest achievements are basically right here, so you can come and see them as they are. And there's even paid premium learning content courses, which I think are a pretty cheap money grab, but if you like the artists that are teaching it, then I guess it's worth it to you, right? And some documentation in a couple different languages. And then about, this is kind of helpful if you want to know like what exact version you have, you can just find it right here, and obviously some legal information. All right, that's it for this little quick part of the video. I just wanted to talk about the Bitwig dashboard in this one. In the next one, I will talk about the overall UI of Bitwig. Thanks for watching. See you next time.